Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and I am still here with Flat Mountain Pythons at their place, and they've got several snakes to show off. But before we show those off, a couple quick questions, so people can kind of see like time frame. How long have you guys been into snakes? When did you get your first snake? How long?
We bought the first two in 2018.
Okay, and this is 2023 for reference. We're
Right.
talking about about the 5-year mark, right?
Yeah.
So when you got your first snake, was it, hey, we're going to invest in a bunch of snakes, start breeding?
Oh no, they were just to be pets. In fact, my daughter bought her first one early November, and she's wanted one for a while, and then really liked it. And then I saw that the shop we got it from got this beautiful pinstripe in, so I went and got it, and we really fell in love with him. And then as the months went on, he decided he needed one.
Yep.
So about January, we discovered Morph Market.
Yeah.
And we ordered him one. And then I think it was February of 2019 we discovered you
Okay.
on YouTube.
Yay!
And started following you and joined your Patreon, and realized he was getting close to retirement, so we decided we would start building a breeding program up slowly, so that by the time he got around to retiring, we would be breeding about 30-35 females to kind of make up difference in pay, or at least something to do for retirement. So
Gotcha.
we'll be breeding 17-18 this year.
Okay.
However, he jumped a year and decided to retire early, so he's retiring in October.
So we're a little bit behind where we want to be.
We're a little behind. He's a little ahead, however you want to look at it.
'Cause he went
but that's
more.
okay.
So just to kind of reiterate something, you guys started saying, hey, I think we want to breed snakes in about 2019.
Yes.
Okay. And so when we talk about growing things slowly, you were able to do that, right? And well, I mean, it's slow-ish.
Relatively. Not as fast as some people.
No, and I think you did it perfect, and I'll kind of explain my point. Like, you had a timeline and a place you wanted to be, so you set a goalpost of where we want to get, and then you figured out how to get there,
Yeah.
right? Within reason.
Yeah.
And did it ever overly stress you out? I mean, there's times that are stressful with snakes, always, right?
I think that first breeding season darn near killed me, only because I have no patience. I'm used to breeding horses or dogs that have like a finite breeding season. They go into heat, they show it, you breed them, they get pregnant, you're done. These guys, it's not so simple. And I think that first breeding season killed me.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the stress of the
but
growth. I guess.
As far as growing it and all of that, we stressed a couple times, but not too bad. We've just kind of gone with it, bought what we thought we needed for our program, held some back, sold off things that weren't fitting anymore. But yeah.
But it never got too big where you were like, oh my God, what have I done?
No.
Because it stepped up as you were able to handle it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your ability to identify what you produced got better each year, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And what was your
this
first year of production, too, by the way? First year you had eggs.
3 years ago.
19. No, we had, because we
Oh,
bought 2 adults that fall from Jeremy. So our first eggs were in, 3 years, 2000.
Yeah,
Fall
Were our
2000.
first eggs. Our first babies.
So 2019?
Yes, 2000. Well, 20.
2020, okay.
Yeah, we got adults in 19, started pairing them.
Perfect.
First eggs were in 20.
And we're 3 years deep now.
Yeah.
So it's been a pretty good growth rate.
Yeah,
It's
it
been
has.
a nice, consistent growth rate.
Right.
And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because this is what I think sometimes we confuse people. We talk about, growing slowly, but this is what we're talking about. The rate at which it was you had a goal. It wasn't just, I want to breed ball pythons, so I'm going to buy 100 ball pythons. Holy shit! Oh my God, what have I done? It was, hey, I want to do this. This is the goal I want to be at. How do I get there in that much time? Getting my feet wet. Yeah, I do like this. Yeah, I think I can do this. And then ramping it up as your skills improve with your husbandry, with your identification, with all of that over that time. So as you're getting to that place where now it's time, right?
Right.
You're leaving your job. Congratulations, it's a wonderful thing. And you're out from wanting to be doing 30 or so clutches.
Right.
And you're going to have the ability to do that.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's what we're always talking about, guys. When you hear me talk about growing it a certain way, this is literally how we're talking about doing it. And this is literally why. It's not running around like a chicken with your head cut off. It's having a plan, executing that plan, having the goalpost. There's always going to be some flex in there. Life happens, right? And you got to have that flexibility, but you got to have a plan. Otherwise, you got nothing. And in that time, you've got some kick-ass snakes, some of your favorites you want to share with us today.
We do.
So let's talk about them. What do you got?
All right. So I'll put this girl up first. This is Nethys. She is from a joint pairing we did with Joe at Wolf House Exotics. It was our albino female and then her fire het albino male. And so she was just an albino, but she's an albino paradox. And she's just absolutely beautiful. Love the paradoxing. And the coolest thing is, it's just not only the paradoxing itself, I mean, it's, almost split down the middle, but she also has paradoxing on her belly.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
So that's really cool.
I've kept a lot of paradox, but I don't have any that have done that.
And then, I don't know if you can see her face, if you can get in there, because she's got the paradoxing on this side. She's got a dark eye, because they should have red eyes. And then she's got the little bit of paradoxing on top. So her left eye, the top part is dark, the bottom part is red.
Now, it'd be really interesting on that one. What was the pairing?
So it was an albino female to a fire het albino male.
Okay. The reason I'm saying it's curious is with paradoxes, you're always wondering is it just a genetic code missing in certain spots?
Right.
Or is this a setup where we actually have two different sets of DNA in there? Apparently this was going home with me. He lost this.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's crawled over, gonna come here now.
Well, I imagine this is the fire showing through then.
Yeah, it could be, or it could just be the one copy albino missing, or who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Because if it's absorbed twin, then it would have entirely different DNA.
Oh, yeah.
Which is going to be cool. Something cool with shed testing when you have the genetics like that. We'll be able to test and find out.
Oh, yeah.
down
We'll
the
have
road.
to do that.
Well, based on genetics, you'd have to test if it's this one. You need it has to be hard on this one. You have to have a bigger patch because they have to test from like right here, which maybe they can. And then they could tell you if this test is just head albino, well, obviously know the snake's albino. You would know that it's a full-blown chimera, right?
Oh, yeah.
But if it
because
tests
she's pretty evenly split in a lot of places.
But if the dark parts test as visual albino, then you would know that it's paradox.
Yeah.
But I always think it's kind of cool. I love paradox gamma. It's one of my favorite looks.
We were just, so stoked when we cut that egg and actually scared. Originally, when we first cut the egg and saw the dark spot, it was like, what the heck, did she have mold in there or something? But then we realized it was paradoxing. And
look at this one right here, too. You can even get some of the alien head pattern in there. Really cool.
Yeah.
And it's pretty light, so it could be straight. I mean, that's awesome.
So, yep.
I love it.
She's 2, so we'll be breeding her next year.
And that's the fun thing. Stuff like this hardly hits the market.
Right.
Because it's just so unique. People tend to keep it. I keep all my unique ones like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And, I'm always afraid to put a, what would I sell it at price? It'd be pretty high, but I'm afraid someone would be like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't really want to sell her, but,
Well, I was just kind of kidding, but fine.
Yeah. So the other one you have here, so this one is also, this one is directly from Wolf House. This is a black pastel male from her. And he's just absolutely gorgeous. He passes this pattern on to the babies. We just love him. His name is Revan, after Star Wars, the character in Star Wars. So, but we just love his patterning, the stripe down his back, and he definitely, passes all that on to his babies. So, and he eats well. So.
One thing they always talk about with black pastel and cinnamon, and obviously it's allelic. I think it's possibly 2 lines. The same thing we kept very, very separate for a long time. Has helped it be visually different. Maybe not. Who knows? But I always think I'm a bigger fan of the black pastel. To me, they're darker than cinnamon in my eye. And then you also get like the eyebrows in here, where you have that little bit of spot missing.
Oh yeah.
Where the cinnamon never tend to have that. Okay. So really kind of cool. I dig it.
Yep.
I like black pastel.
I do too.
I'm a fan.
And he really does. I mean, you talk about alien heads, he really does have alien heads.
Yeah.
He really has alien heads on him. So, you can see him. All
ET
right.
phone home. So, now are you going to get Kevin to talk about these snakes, or is he going to hand them to you?
That was just his tail. You want to talk about? Okay.
Nope.
You know more about the genetics right now than I do.
He's
going to do the pass
he's a
off. I
silent
get
partner.
it.
All right. You're going beautiful.
Well,
all right. So
we'll start, but not.
You know a lot about this snake. So
I've
this
seen
is
this one
actually
before.
from Olympus. This is from Matt. This is one of his Blitz. It's a little girl.
Oh, you're going away,
And
Nelly.
she's almost up to weight to be able to breed this year, but she's just a single gene Blitz. But I love the patterning. I love Blitz.
I do too.
So, and,
You know, and some of them
it's
get a
just-
little more like flex in there, but one thing I see on my line of Blitz a lot is always how close together the pattern is. It's just very,
Yeah.
very jumbled and you get some of the flex there, and then you get some big white alien heads in that. I'd almost be. Do you remember what the parents were? Because I don't at this point in time. It's been so long.
I believe she came from. So she's 3. She would have come from whatever your Blitz calico pairing was that year to
Okay.
get your.
Well, then it would have been a
Blitzes.
Blitz to a Calico.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, yeah, it's definitely just straight Blitz because there's no
Yeah.
Calico in there. But it's got some really wide openings in the alien heads. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah. So
I
we're
like it.
excited.
Yeah, no, Blitz, man, I love Blitz. I think the Blitz trick, and I'm of the mind I'll put out there now that Blitz trick and Hurricane are all the same. You know, I think we have that in a lot of genes, to be blunt. And to me, you know, I really like the line we work with, and that we've worked a long time. You're going to get a lot of pattern arboration, which is what I really want out of my Blitz. I want the pattern to be really, really strong and wonky. I call it a gene that causes chaos. And when you breed these things into stuff, you're going to cause a lot of chaos in that pattern, and it's going to look really, really cool. So I dig it. This looks like a pissed off ET right there.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I'm angry at the world.
Yep. And I can't talk about what exactly it is, but the snake we're breeding her to this year, it's a color breed, but it also has, or gene, and it also has like a pattern distortion. So I'll talk about that on Patreon.
Yeah, working on a little bit of the secret project, right?
I am
Trying to
working
prove-
on a secret project
Trying to prove
right
some
now.
things out, see
Yes.
what it is.
Yep,
Yeah,
on the
and doing
gene.
it, and also kind of
Yes.
doing it the long right way.
Yes.
We're not jumping to conclusions. We're doing it
No.
the way it should be done,
We're
which
doing
I
it the
appreciate.
long right way. So I'll give you her.
Come here, baby girl.
I don't
You
have
remember
enough
me,
hands.
don't you?
All right. And the last one we pulled out, I thought this one actually was a world's first for a while, but I did notice in looking back on Reddit, Ben Rennick actually did
Oh.
produce one of these back
Oh.
in 2016.
Anytime we talk about Ben, we got to say one thing.
I know.
Go straight to hell, Lindley Rennick, you murderous bitch.
Yeah.
All right, now back
I
to this
know.
program.
Okay.
We miss Ben, but
I know, it was a horrible
it
situation.
was. And everybody
It
got
was.
together as a community and went to help her out, and come to find out she's a scandalous, murderous, cheating hooker.
Yeah.
So there we are.
So this lovely lady is Ismay, and she is a champagne, and she had red xanthic. And you know, talking about knowing genes of your snakes.
Yeah.
So every now and then you're going to get one where you've got a surprise gene in there. Her dad was, we thought, champagne albino, until all of the babies came out with Enchi in them. Turns out he is champagne super Enchi albino.
Can't complain about that.
No, not at all.
And that's definitely got Inchi in it because
So-
the level of pattern in
Yeah.
that champagne, Inchi is what's going to bring that much pattern in. And
Yeah.
you also see the pattern crossing over the back
Yeah.
quite a bit in there. That is definitely Inchi champagne.
But what I love the most about the combination of the Enchi and the hat red is just like these the long alien heads. I know you don't want to be still. And you know, they just link together and stuff like that. And we love working with champagne now too. And
You know, I got
it's just-
champagne Inchi in my collection too.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the HRA, the overall color of this is just got a lot more pop and a lot more vibrancy than what a
Right.
straight champagne Inchi would. It looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
I dig it.
So, but she's really pretty, and
Got a little ringer there on the tail too.
she does. Yeah, just a little bit.
So if there's two things champagnes will do frequently, they will throw ringers.
Yes.
It seems to be the gene that causes most ringers. And when we all talk about, and never breed your champagne to spider, same complex.
Right.
And we always talk about like, you know, the wobble with spider. Here's the thing with champagne. I think for them, they come out more bitchy than most. In my experience, champagnes can have some attitude, man.
That
Oh
they
my
do.
gosh, I think that the gene I have been bitten by the most has been champagne, and actually her, not her mother, another champagne female that we have when we got her. My daughter spent 6 months calming her down because all she did was
Yeah.
bite anything that came near, and she's calmed down. She's 4 now.
Four.
And she's relatively calm, but she will still strike. And yeah.
You know, I think it's just me. I used to hear people. I used to hear people talk about pissy pastels, which that's a lot of peace to try to say. People talk about pissy pastels. It's like a natural tongue twister. And I never have noticed that. But champagnes, man, I got at least 2. One of them's pretty sweet once you get her out, but there are days. Then I got another one that's a champagne pastel lesser who's gorgeous, and she will eat your face. She will flat out strike backwards at you if she gets a chance. She's just the biggest bitch I've got.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hate that snake, and I love her at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. She's crazy. She's crazy.
Yeah.
I always make Caleb work with her. I don't care if Caleb gets bit. It's fine.
He doesn't seem to care if he gets bit either. So, but yeah, this is just kind of a sampling. We have so much more back there, and we had a couple of other snakes this year, like our hypo male turned out to be hypo old school het red, and then our hypo pastel lesser and she pinstripe female ended up having cinnamon in her.
Nice.
So, because we ended up babies that didn't look like they should have looked given what we thought we had.
So that brings me to another point before we slide over to Patreon, as we talked about, because you guys are a great example of this, which is why I keep coming back to it. We talked about growing and slowly learning. There's 2 things that's done for you. One, you just talked about all the things you found that you didn't know you had are different, right? Because you got better at what you were seeing and identifying babies. And, when we all first start out, we're all guilty of going to Petco, post up a normal, and going, I think it's special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And now we're like, oh, God, so those posts on Facebook. But, you grew those skill sets, right?
Yeah.
And number 2, the snakes never became, which we're seeing this in today's world right now. You can go look, and I told y'all it was coming. I told y'all, I'm like Deion Sanders. I told you we were coming, right? I told you this was coming. You're seeing a lot of people now who are getting out and flaming out, and I've kind of taken a financial beating because they invested money and they did this, and invested money they probably shouldn't have into snakes because they didn't understand what was going on. Y'all didn't do that. Your retirement's just fine. Yeah. You didn't cancel your retirement to go buy snakes. No. You bought snakes to have some shit to do in your retirement, right? Yes. That's the right way. You're never going to miss a meal because of snakes.
Right.
You're never going to stress. You didn't have that stress. Yeah, you've had stress of breeding and stress of this animal doing okay. And God damn, why isn't it day 58 and why haven't these eggs hatched? And we all get those stresses, right?
Yeah.
But it hasn't been stress of I've got more snakes and not enough space. Hello, I'm there now. The baby room, man, we're going to be really close on count. Holy shit, we got woo!
Yeah.
But never the stress of I bit off more than I could chew because I grew too fast.
Right.
God, that feels good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you're right where you want to be. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Kurt, anything you want to add?
Any questions?
Anything y'all want to add?
No.
Nope. Just other. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing this. So thank you.
Well, I don't know why that is. You were doing. I'm not the one who made you do it. Don't blame me for that shit.
No. Okay.
I don't know if we can blame you for it, but you were the inspiration.
You're the inspiration.
And for us doing this, so.
I'm glad because your story and mine aren't dissimilar. I could see a retirement time coming up. Mine moved up a little bit too, just for some other things in life, and just realizing how to make myself a happier human being. But yeah, I was facing with the fact that when I'm 50, which I'm not there yet, I may not want to work anymore. And I'd have retirement, but that wouldn't be enough, and I don't want to be bored. So this was going to be that supplement for me. Now, I grew a little quicker on our end just because of some social media luck, and it is what it is. But by taking that time and having those goalposts and knowing where I was heading, I laid out a plan, and watching you guys do the same thing and be successful with it is always great, because it does work if you do it that way. It'll work the other way too. It'll work. There are people who are going to go, cancel their 401k and drop $100,000 into snakes and make it. They're going to be out there. But if it wouldn't have worked for you guys, not a really big deal, right?
Right.
It'd suck if you'd have found something else you want to do instead if you end up not liking this or not being your thing. But if you dropped $101,000 of your 401k and then found out this sucks for you, oh God, that's a lot worse day, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That's my point.
It's hard to recoup that money.
That's why we always talk about growing it slow, making sure this is right for you, and then you can hit the gas at the speed that you want to hit the gas that's appropriate for you. Absolutely. Caleb, anything you want to add? Nope. All right. I guess that's kind of it, right?
And that's it, yeah, for now. Till we get to Patreon.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We're going to slide over to Patreon, and we will see you next time.